Hi, in this video, we'll look at how to create your own quiz app where you create a quiz, you tell what the scores are for each question and what the answer of each question is, and then you send it out to a bunch of students or people who are going to take the quiz, and they can take the quiz, and as soon as they take the quiz, they get and publish it, they'll get the results, the score for the whole quiz. It'll automatically get checked because you've specified the answers. So obviously this kind of a quiz needs to be objective. Any subjective questions are not going to be automatically gradable, but anything that's of objective type with multiple choices or other such things can be graded like this. So what we've done here is I've signed in as RC Anand, and I've gone and searched through the apps for Autograded Quiz, and I found this Autograded Quiz app. I could of course click on it and go and look at the app in detail, let's do that. So let's actually go and look at the quiz app, and we see that the quiz app is clonable, as we know before, which means that I can make a copy of it. So it's something that I can just copy and then modify for my needs and then publish it. And it has an item, so the apps have items, and as we saw before, and this app has an item called a quiz attempt. And I can now take a quiz attempt because the owner of this app, who's admin, as you see up here in the breadcrumbs bar, the admin has created this autograded quiz, and we're in the page of the autograded quiz app, and we know that because this icon stands for an app, and it's categorized as an education app. I could follow this app so I can get notifications whenever something changes in here, and so on. So right now we have a new quiz attempt option under this item called quiz attempt. So let's just take a quiz attempt, since the admin has allowed me to create a new take this quiz. Let me just see what it feels like to take it. So I'll click on this new quiz attempt, and it asks me for my name, so I'll just give it as Anand, and I'll pick answers to these questions. So what is 1 plus 1, which is 2? Let me actually make a couple of mistakes so you can see how it goes. So let's say I just picked the odd numbers instead of the even numbers that this question asks for. Each question also tells you what the maximum grade is for that. So if you get it right, you get 5 points for this, 5 points for this, and 10 points for this, and so on. And now in the third question, here you can see that when you set your questions, you can even create complex mathematical expressions in there using a familiar tool to mathematicians called LaTeX through something called MathJax. And if you want to do this, you can learn how to do that. There's documentation as well, which explains how to do it. So you can create this kind of mathematical expressions. In this case, the roots of the quadratic expression are basically the first one. So I'll pick the choice to be the first one. And what is the meaning of life? 42. And what is the last name of the current president? Let's say Obama. And which of the following snippets is valid in complete Ruby code? And let's just pick something which probably is wrong. I can even tag this answer of mine with some things if I want to, with some topics, but it doesn't really make much sense here. I can also make this anonymous if I wanted to, and if I wanted to make it anonymous, I would provide a fake name here, but it's still a required field, so you have to put in something. So you can just say anonymous user, or you can choose some kind of an arbitrary name. The only reason for providing that is that you are able to see each, the admin who's owning this app can see each attempt and decide whose it is, or just distinguish between them, just make it easy to distinguish between them. So let me just publish this, and immediately you see that it is automatically scored. There was nothing that the owner, the teacher, or the admin in this case had to do, and it automatically got scored, and I got 25 out of 40. So it says the first one was correct, and I got the full 5 points. It says 5 out of 5, and here I got the whole thing wrong, so I got 0 out of 5. The correct choice was picked here, so I got 10, and this was also the correct answer, so I got 5 for this, and I got 5 for this, and then here it was 10 marks, but then I got it wrong, so I got 0, and so by adding up all the scores, it gave me a 25 out of 40. So that's how this thing is experienced. So now it has some fairly simple kind of questions, but let's go back up to the app. And now the goal here, and notice that it shows my attempt because I took it, but the app is set up in such a way that only I can see it, see my attempts. The admin, of course, who owns the app can see everybody's attempts, but only I can see the attempt that I made. I can't see other students' attempts on this page. It'll only show mine. So that's just a bit of an aside. But let's move on and let's actually clone this app. So let me, as RC Anand, clone the admin's Autograded Quiz app by clicking on the clone button here. And it just asks for a confirmation. And I say, yep, I want this quiz app. And I can even publish it right away, but then I don't want the questions that were there. Maybe I want to add my own questions and change the questions which are there. So let me drop down into the quiz attempt item, which is under the Autograded Quiz app. And this is now my app. As I can see here, it's RC Anand's Autograded Quiz. And I can also see under this, it says created by RC Anand less than 5 seconds ago. So that basically says that this is my own app and it's not the admin's app that I'm looking at. And it has a bunch of things which happened when I cloned it, and it's giving me a bunch of messages there. But let me go in here to the quiz attempt item. And now if I want to change the questions, then the questions are just different fields in this item, as we should probably be aware by now if we've seen the first video. And these fields are basically, there's a bunch of fields, some of which the questions actually start with this field number this question 1. So these are just, it's an automatic counter field which just generates a counter for each attempt. And there's the name field where I entered my name, and I can also have my students enter their names. And I can now modify this. So let me just, now one thing to note is that you have this field type. So there's a whole bunch of field types that we have in Meon, and typically for a graded question kind of field that I want to add, I would use a choice or a multi-choice in most cases. So a choice is something where a bunch of choices are presented to the user has to pick one, and a multi-choice is something where, so again, a bunch of choices are presented, but you can pick multiple out of them. So let us take this one and modify it. So to modify it, we click on this edit pencil icon here. And now you see the field that you're editing. So the field is what is 1 plus 1. And let me say, let's say I want to just change it to what is 2 plus 2. And so I've changed the question. I might also want to change the choices. So here you see that these were the original choices. And let me say that I want to make it like 2, 4, 6, 10, 100. So these are the choices I want to give. And then since we want to support grading, which is an advanced feature for any field, we have to click on this advanced section. Both items and fields have an advanced section, and that's where you find more advanced settings. Not all fields have advanced sections though. Items always do, but some fields don't. They probably are so simple that there's nothing much to do at an advanced level, depending on the field type. So here we'll see some of the relevant choices. There's a choice called shuffle, and here you have the question which tells you what it means. So should the choices be shuffled when shown to the user? So when you show the choices, do you want them to be shuffled? That's a good idea because they'll not see the same thing. Should this field be hidden when viewing the schema of this item? That basically says, hey, this is my question paper and I don't want people to be able to see it before I actually administer the test. So if anyone sees this app and navigates through it before they actually take the test, they shouldn't be able to see the question. The question should be given only at the time of the test. And similarly, there's other things here. But then the next most interesting setting here is whether the field should be graded, and we know that we want to support grading. And let's say that this question, I want to change the grade from 5 to 10. So that's all I need to do. And if I want the question to be automatically graded, I need to supply the answer, in this case it's 4, because the question we changed it to what is 2 plus 2 here. So we basically say that the answer is 4, and that's it. We can now update the field. And now go look, we are still in the item page, as we can see from this icon and by looking at this breadcrumbs bar. And we can go look at the fields. And here we see, the question has changed to what is 2 plus 2. So let's say I also want to delete one of these questions. So let's say I want to delete this last question. I don't want this question in my quiz. I want to also, and I could of course go and modify. So let's look at the fields. We deleted the last one, so now it has only 5 questions. I could add more fields. I'll show that in a minute. And I could also modify each of these. I'm not going to do all of those right now, of course, but you can modify each of these the way you want. But it's fairly similar. You're going to go in there and change the answer, maybe the grade, and edit the field itself, the title of the field, to change the question. Now, let's say I want to add another field. So let's say that this is my field which I want to add, and let's say it's also a choice. And let's say the question is, so let's make this the 6th question. What is the color of the sky? I want a clear sunny day. Okay, so we'll make it more specific, afternoon, and you can go down here and present the choices. So the choices could be red, blue, green, black, yellow, and there's no default. Again, we go into the advanced section. We just added this field so it doesn't have these things checked. So do I want to shuffle the choices? Probably yes. Want to hide the field in the schema? Probably yes as well. I want to support grading. I want to give this, if someone gets this right, they get 15 points. And the correct answer is blue. So I'll just add that right here. So you have to add the answer exactly the way it was in the question. So in the choices. So once we've done this, we can just go ahead and create the field. And now if you go into the fields, you'll see that it has another question here. So let's say I want to now delete this question and I want to replace it with another question. So let's say I deleted this question, what is the meaning of life? So delete it and go back here, and you see you have 1, 2, 3, and then the fourth one is gone. You have the fifth and sixth. Now I want to add a new field. So let me add another field and we'll make it a choice again. Or let me show you another way to do it. So we could add another choice just the way we did it, but let's instead clone one of these. So let's actually make a copy of this field so we can use that. So I'll clone this multi-choice field. So this question is going to be a multi-choice, so I'll pick this one and I'll just clone it. And now once it's cloned, you can see, oh, we went to the field page, but let's pop back up to the item page. So this is the icon for a field, and we jumped into the field page. But now we'll see that the field has been added, and it's just changed the name of the question from which of the following numbers are even to which of the following numbers are even to. So that's just going to suffix some numbers so that you have unique field names. And let's edit this one because we don't want the same question, we want to change it. And we'll make this question number 4 because that's what we want to replace. And what's a good, so let's just make it which of the following numbers are odd. And we can even use the same choices if we wanted, but let's make it more interesting. Let's say 79, 54, 23, 41. So, and 45. So we have these, and then we have to go in here, go to the advanced section. It's already kind of configured, and let's say this one is worth 20 points, and let's put in the answer. In this case, since it's a multi-choice, it can have multiple of these picked, and we are looking for the odd numbers. So let's just leave in the odd numbers and remove the even. I'm sorry. So all of them are odd except this one. So there you go. So you have all the odd numbers here, and we now update the field. So now that we have updated it, we're back on the same page, the item page. We can look at the fields and we see, yeah, we have this question here and it has the choices and everything. Great, but we have a problem here. The fields are going to be shown in exactly the order you see here. So the fourth one is coming after the fifth and sixth, so you want to push this up here. And how you do that is to go up here and you have these different choices here. Let's say arrange fields, and now you can see that the fields have a position, and you can see that between 5 and 7 there's a blank because that's what we removed. So if we just change this last one to be 6, then it's going to get reordered the way we want it. So this is going to just pop up above this fifth one, so it's going to be the right place. So we'll update the field positions and we'll just check that it looks okay. Yeah, it looks great. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and we are ready. So we can now publish the app. So let's say I've made all the changes I wanted. I would probably do the same thing for the other fields as well. And now I'll publish the app, and now anybody can take a new quiz attempt. So I could take it myself, or someone else who comes along to this app can take the quiz, or I could have configured it to say only certain people can take it and so on. But here's how it looks. So you have those changed questions, and the other ones are still the same. So this is how you create an autograded quiz. All right, so very quickly, we took the admin's autograded quiz app, we cloned it, we went and changed the fields that we wanted, we added new fields if we wanted them, we also rearranged the fields. Let's look at the settings to make sure we like them. So here's an important part of the experience. So whenever you're an item, you want to know who can create, who can read, who can write. So in this case, it says instance creators are members, which means anybody can take a quiz attempt. Anybody can attempt this quiz. Any member of Meon who's signed in can attempt this quiz. The instance readers, it says this item instance creator, which means only the person who created the instance can read it. The app owner can always read the stuff under his app. So in this case, I'm the app owner and I can see all the stuff. But apart from me, also the person who created an attempt can see their own attempt. That's how they see their automatic grade as soon as they finish up. Now, instance editors, we say, is blank, which means only the app owner can edit or delete the thing. So once it's published, you can always save drafts and keep editing it, but once you publish the quiz attempt, you cannot edit it or delete it. Only the app owner, that's me in this case, RC Anand, I can edit or delete it. And then there's also this important one up here saying maximum instances per user, which basically says each person can attempt this quiz only once. So once you've attempted and published, that's the end of it. Unless someone goes and deletes it, like the app owner deletes it, you can't take another attempt. And there's other settings here. There's some statistics around this, which allows people to see, some statistics about who got the highest score and who got the lowest score and so on. So that here is set to responder, which means someone who's responded to this or created a quiz attempt, that person can read the statistics. But before taking the quiz attempt, you can't see the statistics. So that's the way it's been set. Does it support anonymity? Yes, it does. And all the other things are not set. So that's a quick look at the auto-graded quiz. And that's, pretty fairly straightforward for anybody to, in a few minutes, take this quiz, modify it with their own questions, and then set it out to a bunch of people. All right. So that's it for this video. Thank you.